G'day everyone, and welcome back to another live stream of the Aussie Investing Machine. Thank you so much for joining me. See a few of you waiting there in the chat. Thanks so much. Evening BC, hope you're well. Can everyone hear me okay? Let me know if not. Yeah, so excited for today's episode. Lots to talk about. There's some really exciting news in the markets. Sure you saw my video yesterday on the space stocks. Had a lot of fun making that one. One of the stocks talked about in that video was definitely one of the ones that was requested last live stream, so thanks for recommending that one. Yeah, good pick. Really enjoyed researching those stocks, and I think there's a lot of opportunity in that space market. So if you haven't already watched that, make sure you do. Yeah, good little episode there. So in today's episode, I think we'll start off going through a couple of the companies that were mentioned in the last live stream. We'll see what those bring to the table, go through positives and negatives for them. Certainly one of the companies, or a couple I think mentioned, are worth a full video. So that's something I'll be looking at for sure. So King Kurian, thanks for joining us. Seems like some things are popping off with some of the stocks discussed. Yeah, 100%. There's been some massive moves this week. Certainly one I've been watching is PolyNovo. We've spoken about them a little bit over the past couple of weeks, and yeah, for sure, PolyNovo, I think it's probably buy time on them. So let's just have a quick look at their price movement. This is their charts at the moment, and we can see it was falling until, of course, it hit the moving average line, and now we've seen a rebound. It didn't even get below the moving average, so that shows really strong interest in the stock. But if we have a look at the buying and selling activity, we are going into a selling period. So I'm not purchasing just yet. I'm just waiting a little bit. The stochastics is telling me to wait as well. I'm waiting till those lines get to the bottom and cross over. And that's the point where, yeah, I think that might be my next purchase. We'll see how we go, but certainly one to watch. So onto the slideshow. Let's jump straight into it. Start with this. So can you see that okay? Yep, looks like you can. All right, so first company to talk about is Lynas. So Lynas, mining company. They mine rare earth metals in Western Australia, particularly in Kalgoorlie. That's where their main mining operation is. They do processing of the rare earths as well, and that processing takes place in Malaysia. Now, Lynas is one of the companies that I will do a full video on, putting together my research at the moment for that one. It is certainly an interesting company. We've seen, I think, a couple of companies really go bananas, in particular Vulcan Energy. I know we spoke about in the last live stream, and since then Vulcan has been doing some crazy things. Let's have a look at them for a moment. Vulcan Energy, VUL. Yeah, have a look at this price movement. It's just been incredible, starting to sort of come down a bit now. Expect a bit of a correction there. A lot of this is speculative news based on they had a feasibility study done on the land that they're planning on mining, and wow, certainly proved to be positive. So we'll run through that a little bit later. Some research on hydrogen, I see. Yes, we will get to that later in the video. Yeah, I think we'll speak about that in a moment, but yeah, hydrogen. Been watching a little bit. Is it the chief scientist in Australia? Watched a little bit about what he had to say for hydrogen, and I think overall looks really promising. It's coming up, so we'll get to that. Let's go back to that presentation just for a moment. So Lynas, yep, I think a video coming. Looking at their financials, it's not as impressive as some of their other I guess, prospects they've got. The financials over the past 1, even 2 years have been slipping quite a bit. The company blames a lot of this on COVID-19, so it'll be important to see whether they can resurrect that in their Q1 stats, which we should see in February. So yeah, something really important to watch there as well. I do like them. I think, you know, their main driving goal is to provide a consistent supply of rare earth metals to the industry. Most of that is done, or almost all of it is done, in China at the moment. So that's what Lynas is trying to deliver. And I think if they can do that, then they'll certainly be an important player going forward, and could grow into a massive ASX entity. So they're planning to expand their Kalgoorlie developments. I think the main development they want to provide is a processing plant there, so they can get it away from Malaysia. I don't think Malaysia is the most stable place for them for their processing activities. There's no sort of indication they'll stop their Malaysian activities. However, the opportunity in Perth will make sure that everything's on home soil and can be fully taken advantage of, and there'll be no interruptions to exports. So that's Lynas. Watch out for a video coming up on them. Having a look at the next company that was mentioned was Strategic Elements, and boy, oh boy, have we seen some crazy price movement with these guys. I think today Strategic Elements went up something like 30%. So great pick, whoever mentioned that last week. Yeah, look at this, 36% today, really incredible. And you look at their 1 year price movement, and that's rivals Bitcoin right there, if you ask me. Still 92 cents, no PE ratio because they're not profitable, but Strategic Elements are, I guess, still in the early stages of evaluating a technology which aims, it's a computer processing or computer hardware technology that is meant to replicate what the brain does. And I think they print 3D nanocubes, and it's meant to be ultra low power, flexible, transparent memory, which it mirrors how biological function works. So really promising technology, and they're claiming that they will have 1 megabit of this memory developed by May 2021. So that's their citing May as their next major announcement. And I think if that's a positive announcement, then the price movement we've seen so far could become almost irrelevant. So if you've got some cash lying around and you're feeling in a speculative mood, it could be a good stock for you. Obviously do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor, and make sure to consult a proper financial advisor before making any investment decisions. But promising. How far off is commercialization? Probably a long way, but we know a stock can certainly do very well even though they're not making any money. So and ultimately, if the technology is good and it works, commercialization will come. They might even get bought out, who knows. So yeah, as I've said there, that May 2021 date's the one to watch. Could be a major inflection point for the company, so we'll see. Around that time, could be earlier, could be later. So let's have a look at the next one on the list, which is BPH. Said I'd have a look at this one. It is a very small sort of penny stock. Just pull up their price movement. I think it's BPH Energy. So yeah, 5 cents, so not too much, and pretty blocky price movement, which shows there's not a lot of buying and selling going on. If you have a look at their website, it's pretty basic, I guess I would say. Not a very well put together website. It's got a big ASX logo down there. I'm not sure if the ASX has helped them with this website, but it certainly doesn't inspire much confidence. If we go back to that slideshow, I've got a few points about them. So essentially, they invest in a mix of oil and gas projects, but also Aussie biotech companies. So looks like a bit of an investment firm Whether they've got plans to take over any of their investments, I'm not sure. But yeah, not a lot to talk about for BPH. Could be one to watch. I'm not really sure what their key differences are to some other investment fund or company. Maybe you know. If you do, let me know. But I couldn't really find too much about this company that was really convincing me that it's worthy of investment just yet anyway. So the third or the fourth point I wanted to talk about was hydrogen. So I mentioned this just before, but a lot of people in the last couple of streams and in some of the comments I've seen on some of my videos are talking about hydrogen and how it's being overlooked, especially when compared to the battery space and everything that goes with batteries, whether it be graphite, lithium. You know, we're talking Talgo, we're talking Lynas, we're talking Tesla. All of these companies are seeing huge growth, but in the hydrogen sector, we haven't quite seen that just yet. So hydrogen, when explained by Australia's chief scientist, he talks about it filling the hole where batteries can't. If you've got a long haul diesel truck that makes journeys between Melbourne and Brisbane, you can't use batteries. It's too inefficient to hold the amount of batteries that would be required to make that journey. You're looking at a massive vehicle which probably wouldn't be compliant with the road rules. So what do? You can't charge every couple of 100 Ks. The solution is to use hydrogen. So there's certainly concept showing that a hydrogen fueled truck could easily make that journey in one tank. There's a lot of embodied energy in hydrogen. In terms of the energy it outputs compared to LNG, for example, it's 3 times more energy from a litre of hydrogen than there is from natural gas. So it certainly fits the bill for those large industrial applications, whether it's machinery, it might be something like a boat, like a container ship or an oil ship. Not that you'd be carrying oil if you could mass manufacture hydrogen, but it's those opportunities where there's really no alternative for clean energy other than hydrogen. So there's a huge opportunity in that transport sector, but more so there's a massive opportunity in the energy space. So you can produce clean hydrogen using water. It takes a lot of electricity, so to produce it cleanly you could use solar power or wind power. It does take a lot of energy to extract the hydrogen, so that's a disadvantage. But as I said, there's no real alternative at the moment, so it's something that Australia as a country is committed to investing in. So it makes sense to look for listed companies that are also taking advantage of this. And when we look at what's happening at the moment, I've got a note there about the hydrogen energy supply chain, and this is something that I certainly wasn't aware of prior to researching this. But in the Latrobe Valley, where we've got in Victoria massive amounts of coal production, AGL, near one of the energy plants they've got there, one of the coal plants, are developing with a consortium of Japanese companies a fossil-fueled hydrogen generation plant. So one option for creating hydrogen is to use fossil fuels. Now, this may sound counterproductive, but the intention is that the fossil fuels will be used to generate the hydrogen, and then the carbon that comes off the fossil fuels is captured and then stored underground. So this consortium is looking to trial that method of hydrogen production to see if they can produce cost-effective clean hydrogen. And it involves building a new port at Hastings along the coast, the Gippsland coast in Victoria. And this is a project that's underway. It's happening. There's huge Japanese investment. There's Australian government and state government investment, and AGL is one of the major partners in this project. So I've sort of written off AGL until this point. It seems they are still relevant, and if they can get this right and start producing, even though it's not totally green in the sense that they are still using fossil fuels, they will be storing the carbon, But if they can make it economical, this will be a massive stepping stone to hydrogen as a fuel for the world. So keep an eye out for that. The other stock that's worth talking about in terms of hydrogen, and they're sort of spoken about as the only pure hydrogen Australian company, is Hazer Group, HZR. And I know some of you have been mentioning this, as I said in the comments and on past live streams. Now, I haven't gone into detail about this company. They do operate in Perth, we know that, and I think they're planning on using iron ore somehow to generate their hydrogen. So that's one I'll be looking into. And what's curious about this company that I do know is that we've seen massive price spikes every now and again on their share price, which do not correlate to any news whatsoever, which is really unusual. Normally with a growth stock like this, you'll see an announcement and a corresponding jump in the share price. For Hazer Group, we're just seeing jumps in the price for no apparent reason whatsoever. So not sure exactly what that means. It could just mean that, sporadically people are realizing, hydrogen's really important and this company is involved in it, I'm going to invest. So not sure exactly what the go is there. Got a few more people who have joined. Thanks for joining us. Mona, how you doing? What do you think will happen to Doe? Since the last live stream, to be honest, I haven't looked up that company, but I know that when we spoke about them last time, they were in a bit of hot water, not just for one isolated incident, but for a couple. I think their directors may not have been doing the right thing. We'll see what the ASX investigation brings, and it will be that judgment that really determines the fate for the company. So I guess we can check those announcements. Let me do that now to see if there's been any developments. But I think once that announcement comes through and the ASX investigation findings come out, we'll know what the story is, and we'll know whether or not. Yeah, we've seen, look at the price tailing off, so people are getting nervous. Obviously, there's no major drops, so I'm tipping that there hasn't been an announcement. Let's have a look. Response to ASX queries, and that was on the 19th, so yesterday. What are they saying? No, okay, so this is responding to all of the ASX questions, so that's their response. It's now up to the ASX to go through these and decide whether or not there's any remedy. You can see here though, each of the directors will undertake a ASX listing rules compliance course. That's essentially detention, ASX detention for the directors. That does not sound good. Overall, it makes me feel a bit funny. Not sure where this company is headed, but obviously there's going to be a bit of work to do. So keep an eye on it. It'll be that ASX response that will really set the tone for where this company's headed, I think. So good question. Thanks for that. King Kurian, it's a shame. Nikola kind of put a small dent in hydrogen's reputation, but I think you're spot on in relation to long-haul transport and air travel. Yeah, that's one I forgot to mention. Air travel, obviously, batteries are heavy. It's not going to suit aircraft. So what is the only alternative? And I think it's going to be hydrogen. Whether or not hydrogen has the same power output as jet fuel will need to be seen. Perhaps there's a boosted version of hydrogen that they can make, or a certain density that will be able to power jet aircraft. We'll see. I think hydrogen's used in rockets though, in solid form. Hydrogen rocket engine. Yeah, I think so. So hydrogen and oxygen, yeah, so there shouldn't be any issue. If you can launch a rocket with it, I'm sure you can launch an airplane. So yeah, that'll definitely be one major use, I think. So we'll keep that in mind. Nikola put a small dent in the hydrogen reputation. I'm not familiar with that. If you could shed some more light on that, Nikola being a electric car manufacturer, presumably they've said something that they're trying to make hydrogen irrelevant. Obviously that would be something that a electric car manufacturer would want to say, because if hydrogen becomes cheap, I'm tipping that a hydrogen fuel cell car will be a lot cheaper to produce than an electric one, considering all of the rare earth metals that an electric car needs to have for it to be produced. There's a whole lot of important minerals in a electric car. Copper, for one, the magnets require all of the rare earth bits and pieces, so, and obviously there's more structural rigidity required in the car because it's so heavy. We know electric cars are commonly over 2 tons, so it's a big factor to consider. There are hydrogen fuel cell cars at the moment, but obviously the major issue is, where do you fill up? I think there'll be a lot more, or there is a lot more electric charging stations than there are hydrogen fill up points. So yeah, King Kurian, if you can give me some more information on that Nikola comment about hydrogen, please leave another comment and I'll get to that soon. Hey Pat, how you doing? Hope you're well. Thanks for watching all of my videos. Appreciate your comments, mate. Hydrogen looks like it is definitely going to have applications for public and mass transport. Agreed. Ballard Power Systems, US company, has been developing the tech for a while. Their stock stands to Yo-Yo. Yep. Okay. Well, I'm interested in probably doing a few videos on US stocks in the future. I think that would be a really good thing to, maybe do one a week, a US stock. But in all honesty, I'm not sure where to start. I've seen a few good suggestions which I've got noted. I think Plug, PLUG, is one that I need to take a look at, but as of now I haven't, but I would love to make some videos on US stocks. I think you guys would enjoy those, and then there's obviously a wider audience in the US that might enjoy the videos as well. So keep the US stock suggestions coming and I will definitely look into those. So thanks for the comment, Pat. King Kurian, Oz government is looking into renewable hydrogen and exporting it to other countries. Yes, they are, certainly, I've seen that. Even Fortescue is looking to diversify, such as hydrogen. So Fortescue, you wouldn't think they'd be in a desperate need to do that, because what they're producing at the moment is not really affected by climate change and the push to renewables. I'd see companies like Whitehaven Coal and these, maybe some of the oil and gas producers would definitely consider hydrogen more strongly. So it might be worth looking in some of the big oil and gas miners. They have this sustainability plan that they talk about in their annual reports. It would be interesting to scan through those and see who actually mentions hydrogen as a future pathway to growth. I think the companies that are engaging in that now and talking about it now, they're the ones to watch, and they might be the ones to invest in. So Nico, anyone been pumping HMX? No, not familiar with HMX. Let's have a look. HMX, ASX, Hammer Metals. Wow, it's cheap, I'll give you that. Cool, 175. Wow, not bad. What do they do? Let's have a look. 9 hours ago, confirm copper and gold at the Trafalgar prospect. Where are they? Mount Isa. Drilling in December. Lots of results. Copper, gold. Awesome. So they found a good deposit. So early days, but looks promising. Large copper gold deposit, Mount Isa. Wonder if there's more drilling to be done. Probably. Yeah. So there's more prospecting to be done. Cool. Yeah, bit of a speculative play, but well done if you were on that one. It's that's a huge return. So congrats on that. Look at that, 175% in a day. Awesome work. Straight up. Thanks for that comment. Eugene, HMX, yes, just a little taste for fun. Why not? you know, if it's not your house, then yeah, I think everyone deserves to have a speculative part of their portfolio where you can jump into stocks like that and keeps things interesting, that's for sure. So awesome work, guys. King Kurian Airbus is building hydrogen plants for 2025. Now I wonder, Airbus is French, so it won't be on the US stock exchange, but I wonder if Boeing has similar plans. You'd expect they would, being such close competitors. I think either of those companies would be a good investment. You know, they have backlogs of orders for years and years. Even despite the virus, people will be traveling ongoing. So I can't see air travel going away unless the Hyperloop can, you know, really pick up some pace. But gee, that thing's going to be expensive to roll out. Let me know what you think. Nico, another one? Surely not. Can't have done 2 in a week. CXO 32. Not as impressive. Lithium. Okay, cool. I wonder if do they operate in Australia? Well positioned to be Australia's next lithium producer. Feasibility study. Lots of lithium. Australia, I think. Is it in Western Australia? Yeah, Darwin. Wow. Okay. Finniss lithium project is within 25 k's of a port in Darwin. So Northern Territory. That's cool. A little bit of a change. Awesome. Haven't heard about them. 28 cents, so a bit more respectable, decent market cap. I might put them on the list to have a look at next live stream. Thanks for that one. That's CXO. Cheers for that. If you got any more info on them that you'd like me to look at, definitely let me know. Matthew Kennedy, HZR convert methane to hydrogen and graphite using an iron catalyst. No greenhouse gases. That latrobe plant produces more greenhouse gases than just burning the coal. Yeah, I think currently in latrobe, certainly a lot of fossil fuels being used there, but I'm only going off, Matt, what I was watching a video. I might see if I can bring it up so you can have a look at it yourself, but essentially they're saying that it can be clean because they bury the carbon that is produced, and I think it's just essentially a proof of concept to see, you know, can you use fossil fuels in a way that you can produce and sell clean hydrogen, you know, quote unquote clean. Can't find that video. Maybe I'll pop it once this live stream goes up. I'll pop it in a comment so you can see it, but maybe chief scientist. See if this comes up. Yeah, Alan Finkel. That was him. Probably should know his name, but I don't. Alan Finkel, hydrogen. Hydrogen. One of these ones. Might have been this one. But yeah, worth a watch. That's a bit old, 2016. Might have been a newer one. I'll find it and I'll link it in case you're interested. But yeah, he was saying that essentially the amount of solar and wind that you need to have set up to produce the hydrogen is like, you know, 10 times more than we've got in the entire country already, just for one small hydrogen plant. So yes, it's possible, but it's going to take a very long time to do that. So yeah, I'll move on. Mona, can you have a look at CSL? Yeah, they've been on my radar, but I know their price has been going down. So if I can pull up CSL, I'll have a quick look. Down to 270. Okay, yeah, so still going down. I've seen some people with a price prediction of something like 230. Whether or not it goes down that far, we should have a look at the. Let's have a look at the technicals and see where it's sitting. Yeah, all right. Well, based on this, you wouldn't expect it to fall too far. We've got stochastics have hit the bottom, about to cross. We're sort of mid sell-off on the MACD, and then on the moving average, we're way under the moving average. So 2 out of 3 indicators are telling us that it's time for the stock price to come back up, but the MACD is still telling us there's a little bit more selling left. Might get down to the 60s, but they're a pretty productive company. You know, they're producing vaccines. Whether or not they'll produce more than the one they are at the moment, or maybe produce a local one, I'm not sure. But look, I don't doubt CSL's ability for future growth. Certainly they're not paying a very big dividend, so that tells you that they're reinvesting a lot of their own money into growing the company. Yeah, they've been a good option for a long time, and I can't really see that stopping. You can see a bit of vertical price movement here, and it's sort of flattened since, but I think, yeah, I wouldn't doubt them for the long run, that's for sure. Thanks for the comment. King Kurian, it seems Lynas and MP are really going to benefit US Treasury Secretary. Biden elected, called out China's human rights and said we'll use powers to curb it. Okay, going to increase tensions further? Yeah, probably. I guess that was the question with the Biden administration coming into power, was whether or not they'd take the same line on China as Trump, and it's still not clear. I guess we'll see once he's actually properly instated after his inauguration. We'll see what type of stance he takes on China, whether it's as harsh as Trump or not, I'm not sure, but certainly China's been identified as a national security risk, and they're continue to ban different companies. I think there's a couple more that are coming up for review, Xiaomi and maybe DJI, the drone company. So yeah, that's sort of definitely affecting things, and Lynas being probably one of the most advanced options for the world in terms of the rare earth production, could be a really positive thing for Lynas, maybe not for the world, but certainly Lynas could benefit greatly from that if that's the way the administration does go. King Kurian FCell is another hydrogen stock in the US. Do you know how it compares to some of the others? Let me know, but yep, I'll certainly put them on the list. FCEL US. Cool, I'll check those guys out. King Kurian, basically Nikola were building hydrogen trucks, and showed videos of it working. However, it turns out they pushed the truck downhill. Yeah, seems like mismanagement more than a hydrogen issue. Yeah, true, but it's bad publicity. Tom Nash covers it well. All right, thanks for letting me know. Appreciate the follow-up comment. Yeah, I think we all know that there are hydrogen fuel cell cars out there, so they don't need hills to roll down, but yeah, not good, I guess, for the cause, the hydrogen cause. Pat, if you get a chance at some point, do an in-depth review of new CPU chip manufacturers making quantum computing chips. I didn't think anyone had figured out quantum computing just yet, but AXE and SLX, both recently announced products in this field. Pop on the list. AXE, SLX, cool, yeah. Haven't heard of them. Quantum computing, certainly when it is cracked, will be, yeah, a huge technology jump. So I don't know if anyone's close. I'll see what those companies have announced, but I think similar to what we spoke about before with who was it? Strategic Elements. Yeah, so they, this nanocube memory might be perhaps not comparative to quantum, but it's certainly another strategy or computing technology that's trying to advance the current what do they call it? Microchips, I guess, silicon microchips. So there will be something else eventually. It's just whoever cracks it, and if you've got your money in there, then all the best. King Kurian, thoughts on Lake Resources, LKE, another lithium stock that appears to be somewhat clean process and high quality. Yeah, I wonder how they compare to Lynas. That might be worthy of investigation. Haven't made that Lynas video yet, so perhaps I'll speak about Lake in that video. I'll make a note of that. It could be a good one to review in comparison to Lynas, so thanks for that. Thoughts on Novonix news regarding Jeff Dan? Haven't been up to date with that. Maybe I'll take a quick look now. Novonix, Jeff Dan. Forgets his Forge's new role with Novonix. Cool. Extended his battery research Yep. So my understanding is at this university, to pronounce it correctly, it's Dalhousie. Gee, I've butchered that, but Novonix has a team of scientists there, and so does Tesla, and they kind of work together, but they kind of don't. And the big speculation at the time of Tesla, of Novonix having that huge price surge that we saw before Tesla Battery Day, was that everyone thought the Novonix scientific team cracked or came up with a great way of processing graphite, I think it was, and that was Novonix intellectual property because it had been conducted under that scientist's team, and everybody thought Tesla wanted to use that technology and they were going to announce it on Battery Day. They didn't. The price crashed for Novonix, but yeah, Jeff Dan, so he's working for Tesla and he's the chief scientific advisor at Novonix. Bit of overlap there. Interesting. So partnership with Tesla. Yeah, closely followed battery research contracts. Yep, we know that. Interesting. What are your thoughts on that? Be good to hear what you think as well. So I haven't been following that too closely, but Novonix they're still there in the background, and we'll see how that develops. Matthew Kennedy, I'm waiting for CXO's gold results. Yeah, so it might be more than a 30% gain the day those come out. Do you have any insider info, or are you just having a bit of fun? Let me know. Nico, check out LPD, a couple more rockets, 30%. Let's have a look. LPD ASX. Oh, that's a cheap company. Tiny market cap, 155. Oh, it's not too bad. 30% up. Yeah, okay. Lithium again. Valuable byproducts from less contested. Yeah, so they're working on sort of less pure deposits. Could be interesting. Won't look into that one too much unless you've got, something you think that makes that company different or worth looking into. Krez, great discussion, learning about so many different stocks and tech. Thanks all, as am I. Thanks, guys. I mean, yeah, some of these space stocks we just talked about in the last episode, I had no idea about. Who would have thought that you've got Australian companies putting satellites into orbit, competing with, US defense, or competing for US defense market share. That's an incredible achievement. So yeah, couldn't agree more. Love having a chat with you guys and hearing about all of these companies. It's certainly opening my horizons in terms of investing, and yeah, really enjoying the live stream. So thanks everyone for joining. We'll keep going. Still got plenty of comments. Really appreciate them all coming through. Nico, BrainChip, yeah, up and down, bit of a yo-yo. Exciting ride. Spoke about them in that last video. Obviously, they've got that deal with NASA. Hopefully that pans out well for the company. If it does, yeah, all the best to BrainChip. I think, again, their BrainChip's marketing, advertising, and the way they present their technology is not particularly convincing. I don't think they're not a company of promoters, that's for sure, but clearly if NASA is interested in their technology, then it must be good. So that really has brought some validation to what they're offering. Cool. Krez bought CSL at 272. Awesome work. Yeah, look, I wouldn't be worried. Don't think you'll be getting any 30% rockets. Maybe you will, but I think a long-term awesome pick. I personally bought CSL at 236. Seems like a bargain now. It didn't at the time, so hopefully in a couple of years you can look back and say the same. So yeah, wish I'd bought more, to be honest. So there you go. Kurian BrainChip 15% up. Any reason behind that? Let's have a look. BRN ASX. Whoops. 15 up, 64 cents. Motley Fool, come on. Do your thing. Why BrainChip rocketed higher? Oh, that was 4 weeks ago. Let's have a look. BrainChip, 2.2% of trades. Awesome. All driven by that. All driven by that Akita IP license agreement. So yeah, it's still a bit of a flow-on effect. Yeah, obviously that's a commercialized deal they've got going. So yeah, really the company's starting to show what it's all about, which is awesome. So well done to BrainChip and all of you who are invested in them. Cres AXE has been backed by IBM for development of quantum computing. Cool. I wonder why IBM aren't doing it themselves. Interesting. I guess sometimes these companies have great minds that, you know, are happy and satisfied working for a small firm where they might get, you know, recognition, and that's how they can come up with technology that, yeah, even the big players can't replicate. So interesting. I'll have a look at AXE for sure, and I'll have more to say either in a video or the next live stream. By the way, guys, next live stream, I'm thinking Saturday. I'm away Sunday. I know ASX Investor has his live streams on Saturday, so I'm thinking maybe a 9 a.m. Hopefully that's not too early. Yeah, let me know. Give me a comment. If it's not, I think that's probably the time I'll do it. Maybe an hour. See how we go. But yeah, appreciate your support if you could come along to that. Yeah, I'll have a lot to talk about. I've got a huge list from this one today. So yeah, awesome. How do I view Novonix or Novonix? Yeah, we just spoke about them before. There's a bit of news that I've got to catch up with about Jeff, their chief scientist. So they're working, or their scientific team's working alongside Tesla's scientific team. So look, that's promising. I think if you could buy them for the right price, it could be a good one to sit and hold. Obviously do your own research on that. We're really waiting for them to strike a good commercial deal with someone, and whether that's Tesla or someone like a Lucid or whoever it may be, a Nikola, or maybe a big player like GM, who knows. But we're waiting for a more substantial announcement out of Novonix, or at least I am. So that's kind of my take, but I do need to catch up on that latest news. So might give an update on that one next live stream as well. The list is getting pretty long, so I have to be selective, but look, I'll put it on there anyway. Kurian, Vulcan, and LKE seem to be more in competition rather than LYC. Yeah, so LYC is rare earths, LKE is LKE lithium. Let me just jump back there. LKE is lithium. Okay. And who are we? And Vulcan, is Vulcan lithium? Oh, well, they came down today. Fair enough. Vulcan is lithium. Yeah, true. Okay, good point. Vulcan's going for lithium and energy production, I think. But yes, good point. I think they're probably more comparable. We'll see. I'll have a look at LKE and see whether I can bring them into the Lynas video. It would be good to get, bring a bit more value to you guys by giving a comparison. I know it's not like for like in terms of minerals, but it might be worth doing. Maybe I could do a bit of a short three-way comparison between the three. So yeah, I'll have a think about it. I'll try and get that video out in the next couple of days. See how we go. Biden's inauguration. Yeah, see, look, I think it'll be peaceful. I mean, they've had enough trouble in the past few weeks. I think the security will be pretty tight. I'm more interested in to see what the Senate passes. Obviously, we've got stocks like Creso Pharma, which have been doing, extremely well in the past few days. They made some more deals in terms of revenue. I think the last one was 200,000, but in the video I did on Crezo, we sort of looked at the amount of revenue they need to bring in to become profitable is a lot more than, you know, a couple of 100,000. You know, they need to be generating multi-million-dollar deals, and I think if the US Senate passes or legalizes medical marijuana, that's how they're going to do it. They're not going to do it any other way. So, yeah, look, I think the Biden administration will, and what the Senate passes or doesn't pass, will be critical for a lot of Aussie stocks. So it will be worth keeping on top of exactly what's going on in the US. Everything Studios, how do you view the overall trend of the ASX? Well, let me show you one thing which dictates what I think of that. Have a look at this. So Biden stimulus. Everybody in the US, or a lot of people, are getting a $1,400 check, a $1.9 billion relief bill. So we saw what happened last time the Federal Reserve increased their balance sheet, and essentially that means printed more money. Let me just find this. Apologies. Balance sheet. Get an image of this. Yeah, so this was the initial COVID. Oh dear, sorry guys. So this image here, see if I can blow it up. Yeah, so this is the Federal Reserve's, I guess, balance of the total money they've got on the books. And we saw this massive jump here during the coronavirus, and that was the stimulus package that President Trump brought in. And as a result, we saw a corresponding lift in the S&P 500. And we know when the S&P 500 goes up, essentially so does the ASX. It didn't match it as closely this time around. It sort of lagged a bit behind, and now it's catching up. But they're expanding the balance sheet again. This is a massive stimulus package, and typically stimulus means a rise in the stock market. People have more money, they will invest it ultimately, and stocks are accessible, and typically things will go up. So a lot of people, I watch a channel called Game of Trades, which is sort of a technical analysis, and they're into trading, so it's, you know, options and shorting the market and, you know, those sort of things. And for weeks he's been saying impending crash is coming, what sort of crisis are we entering into? And I think, yeah, you'll see a video come out of that channel probably in the next day or two, which will say, oh, sorry guys, we've seen a massive stimulus package. Don't worry about shorting the market. Things are going to go up. I think, you know, you can't be certain, but yeah, that's what it means. If there's money being pumped in, it means the market will go up. The downside is that it increases the risk of hyperinflation. The idea of printing more money is to increase inflation, which we need to do because inflation's at historically low levels. Whole different topic for a whole different episode. If you guys are interested in talking more about the economy, that would be cool. Let me know if there's enough support. Yeah, it'd be great to make some economic-based videos. So yeah, let me know. Would be nuts if EOS and KSS join ARK in new ETF ARK. Yeah, well, I'm sure they will. Not many, when I did my research, there's not a lot of stocks which are really involved in space on the ASX. Someone mentioned, I think SAS was one that has unfortunately stopped trading, didn't do so well, so it must be a tight market. And we know that I think KSS mentions pretty strongly in their investor material that, yeah, it's really difficult for people to get in to space because it's technically complex. It takes a lot of money to build a satellite, and yeah, it's a real niche, and long development times, I think, was their other key factor that keeps people out. So there's not a lot of players in the market. BC 9 AM works for Saturday live stream. Awesome, cool. would be good to do before. Yeah, I think so. You know, he's go for a long time, and credit to him. You know, he does some really amazing live streams. So yeah, I'm thinking just before, you know, mine normally go for an hour. Happy with that. Suits me. I know he did a 5-hour one recently. Probably not my cup of tea, but yeah, good for him. So yeah, 9 a.m. Saturday, I think, for everyone who didn't hear, for the next live stream. Matt Kennedy, CXO, gold nuggets, and high grades at Bono. Drill results soon. Cool. Might be one to throw a few bucks in. See how we go. Matt Kennedy again, make sure you include ASM in any LYC video. All right, I'll make a note. Thank you for that. And I think we'll wrap things up with this final comment. Everything Studios, thanks. Oil and gas companies trend. Yep, so if you watched my portfolio update maybe 2 videos ago, you would have seen my top performing stock was actually, for the past 6 months, Beach Petroleum. Oil price was pretty badly battered during COVID, probably to levels below its intrinsic value, and now it's starting to rise again. There's been a hit in terms of like aircraft volume still, but I think the bulk of the oil production goes into passenger vehicles. So there's now that most people are back on the roads, the oil price has recovered, and I think there's an oil price setting team of countries. I think it's the OPEC agreement, and essentially that's a cluster of oil producing companies that determine the oil price. They agree and they say, okay, well, we're not going to sell a barrel of oil below this price, and that's how the oil price is generated. Otherwise, it would be a lot cheaper than it currently is. So provided they stick together, they dictate the price, and the transition to EVs it's happening, but it's slow. It's really slow. So I don't anticipate. Look, I think oil stocks will be fine, and if it's a good company in any industry, a good company will do well. So that's what you should be focusing on, is what's the company's performance and are they growing? And if it's in the oil industry, I don't think there's any issue with that. In coal, you might be struggling a little bit more, but even given that, a good coal producer, 80% of the world's power currently is still fueled by coal. So yeah, even there's opportunity. I wouldn't be too worried about the market segment they're in. I'd be more focused on how the company's performing. So yeah, that's my advice. Hope that helps. Thanks everyone for joining another live stream. Really enjoyed your company, had a great discussion, and I'll see you on Saturday at 9 a.m. Hope you can join me. Thanks so much for all your comments, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers for watching. Thanks guys.